All right, y'all, we are back with another video. I definitely had to bring y'all this right here because it seems like Whoopi Goldberg, Alyssa Farah Griffin, and Joy Behar gets into this huge fight. You already know they always fighting about Donald Trump. It's always over Donald Trump because Alyssa Farah Griffin seems like she's starting to be more on Donald Trump's side. And she keep questioning everything Whoopi Goldberg them said because we know Whoopi them just say anything. Her son, they just say anything because they don't like Donald Trump. And the more Alyssa cuts them off and kind of drops truth bombs on them, they started to get mad with her, telling her she's interrupting. It just got crazy. So I definitely want y'all to check out this video. I know it's hard listening to the view, but I definitely need y'all help so we can get this video out here so people can see how delusional these women are. But I want y'all to hear the reason why they started attacking Alyssa Farah Griffin. They just all started just attacking her. So please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comment section that you did. Stay to the end. I would really, really appreciate it. Like I said, it definitely helps get the video out. If you watch the entire video, I know it's hard, but just help me out and hit that like button. And without further ado, let's go.
That being said, now we're going to something kind of surprising, I guess. Online misinformation and hate speech continue to plague social media. Meta and Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg says he's following the footsteps of ex-owner Elon Musk by getting rid of third-party fact-checking on the site. Now, here's what he said yesterday.
We've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship. The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech. So we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms. We're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes, similar to X. We're going to simplify our content policies and get rid of a bunch of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender that are just out of touch with mainstream discourse. We used to have filters that scanned for any policy violation. Now we're going to focus those filters on tackling illegal and high severity violations. And for lower severity violations, we're going to rely on someone reporting an issue before we take action.
Hey, what's wrong with that?
I'm just curious because human rights activists warn that this is a major step back that'll have misinformation, conspiracy theories, and bigotry running wild on the site. My question is, when did fact-checking become a bad thing?
Since Donald Trump became president.
Yes.
I can't stand that crowd. They get on my nerves.
That the worst thing that he has done is caused this misinformation and lying going on.
What?
This alternative facts that Kellyanne Conway, she said alternative facts. This guy Zuckerberg, when I saw the movie, wasn't it Social Network?
Yes.
Where he says basically, I'm creating Facebook so people have a community, so that people can talk to each other. All of a sudden, it's become this big thing about, and a big lying machine that's going on. And the wokeness is what is at the bottom of this.
Yeah, I just want to say, I'm sorry. If being woke is a bad thing, that means that the fact that I care about you, regardless of what you say or who you are, I want to make sure your family is as well off as mine is. That's too woke. It's too woke for me to say to you, hey, listen, if your kids, you don't want your kids reading this, maybe the best thing to do is let's go to the library together and I'll tell the librarian what I don't mind my kids reading, and then you can tell the librarian what you don't want your kids to read. That's too woke.
Well, the new rules on Meta and Facebook, they're imperfect. I will say this. I think it's a balance between content moderation, free speech, and fact-checking. And what I think Facebook has gotten wrong for some time is they've had third-party fact-checkers, but then Facebook Meta would ultimately make a decision on can this content be on. Oftentimes fact-checkers can't, or these staffers at Facebook can't have biases. I actually think, listen, X has become a hellhole for a lot of reasons, but I think that community notes actually work. You have to cite.
Sonny Hostin, how is you over there talking about some dumpster fire when your husband just got for fraud, insurance fraud? How is you over there running your mouth about anybody? And your own husband just got indicted, Sonny Hostin. This is what I'm talking about. She over there running her mouth when her own freaking husband just got indicted over insurance fraud, and she over there just talking. I told y'all plenty of times. They every time it's somebody that supports Donald Trump, they always just want to be the opposite. They want to do the opposite so they can have something to talk about. These women are just delusional, man. And the more this conversation goes on, you're going to see Alyssa is going to keep cutting them off like, no, that ain't right. That's when they're going to get mad at her because she's not in line with them to just agree with the BS that they keep on saying. Let's go.
Let me interrupt you. What does free speech have to do with fact-checking?
Because it's imperfect. It's not as simple as the sky is blue, the grass is green. We know the facts on that. Sometimes it comes into opinions or viewpoints. This is still a town square. I tend to be a free speech absolutist as long as it's not harming someone else.
What's the difference between an opinion and a fact? We do it every day.
A lot of this can be viewpoints where somebody could say, well, this is my viewpoint on it, and they were moderating things around language you used around certain issues. But to the point I was saying, community notes actually work. They have to be cited to sources. My issue is the algorithms. These tech companies are run by billionaires. They're completely unaccountable. Congress hasn't regulated tech in over 30 years, and they can push what you're seeing more of. They can hold back what you're not seeing, and that to me is the biggest issue. But we can complain about it all we want. We need to tell Congress that they need to also get involved.
Yeah, they absolutely do. The misinformation, the World Economic Forum listed misinformation and disinformation as the most severe short-term threat globally. So by removing these fact checkers, I understand the concern was, and Joy, this might answer your question, there were some conservative viewpoints that were being taken down. So these fact-checking industries started right in 2016 when President Trump was elected the first time. Yeah, it would be something like when there were debates on masks or shutdowns, they were taking these things off of the site, which as someone who could have debated that, these people were saying you're taking our content off of this site. But there's a difference between Alex.
Is that allegedly or is that factual?
Oh, there's
their conversation. Yeah, there are reports, there are things they took off. But the bigger point here is there's a difference between Alex Jones spewing hate, disgusting, false, and having a difference of opinion. But either way, I'd rather have.
I told you, whoever supports Donald Trump, they got to throw them in there to fit their narrative. This is the reason why I said that they're going to get mad at Alyssa, because she's going to continue to cut them off. And I'm glad she did that, because there's nobody that's on this show that never fact checks them and never say, hey, hold on now, you wrong, that ain't right. They just get to keep spewing all of these lies and attacking everybody that's around Donald Trump. Elon Musk. Now they're going after Mark Zuckerberg. They're going to go after everybody that supports Donald Trump, including himself. This is what they're going to do to fit their crazy, stupid narrative. They're going to keep throwing in people. Now you see they're using Alex Jones.
Them get it wrong occasionally with a screen door between free speech and say anything you want. So I'm frustrated that they did this because social media is already on the downgrade, and he pretty much admitted he did this because of President Trump.
You know, I'm going to just reject the fact that we don't know what a fact is.
Really? You sure don't.
I reject it outright.
No
there is a
one's
difference
suggesting that,
between opinion and fact. And there is, journalists, like people that are, work for the New York Times, they know how to fact check. Journalism students are taught you fact check 3 different sources.
Journalists have got things wrong,
so
though.
this
That's
notion,
how they're always perfect.
this notion that the reason that they're doing this is because they can't fact check.
But free speech gives you a right to be wrong. I have a right to post something that's inaccurate. I have a right to say the grass is blue.
Facts are different.
That should be taken down simply because it's facts.
Disinformation is different. And so I think what you're finding is this company is also getting rid of content restrictions on topics like gender identity and immigration. Calling women, by the way, household objects is now permitted on Facebook.
But do you think it shouldn't be?
Users are now allowed to, for example, refer to women as household objects.
Let's take a break because there has to be some attention paid to Paul when he's over there praying to me. We will be right back. Paul.
I just wanted to put a button on what I was saying. There's a difference between free speech and hate speech, and we know that. Free speech, I welcome. I think everyone welcomes. It's your constitutional right. When you start delving into hate speech, which is what is happening all over social media, there's a problem.
Now, what about that hate speech that's coming from y'all's show? The hate speech. You know what, Sonny Holston? What about the hate speech that you be spewing on Donald Trump? You remember when you made that statement by Melania wants to take out Donald Trump, that she don't like him? What about that type of speech that comes from your mouth? What about Joy Behar saying she can't wait for Donald Trump to choke on a cheeseburger and pass out? I'm not going to say the other word because I'm trying to be careful here. But y'all spew hate all the freaking time. It's a difference between free speech and hate speech. Y'all be spewing hate speech towards Donald Trump because you don't like him. You tell lies after lies after lies. Everybody that come on that show and try to challenge y'all cut them off. That's the reason why I said I ain't pretty fond of Alyssa Farah Griffin, but she's going to be cutting them off and not letting them just sit there and spew that crap. And that's the reason why they're going to start to get mad and stuff like, hey, you keep cutting me off. I can't get a word out. Because you're lying and she's cutting you off to try to tell you this is the truth. I'm not finna sit here and listen to y'all lie again. This is a new year. Nobody finna listen to that crap no more. And like I said before about Sonny Holston, she over this show running her mouth when her husband is in trouble. Is that Donald Trump's fault that your husband is in trouble now? For insurance fraud? We're going to see about that.
Problem with that. When you start delving into misinformation and disinformation, there's a problem with that. Meta's new hate speech guidelines permit users to call people in the LGBTQ plus community mentally ill. That is harmful. That is harmful. And the last thing I'll say is let's just break it down to bare bones. This is about President-elect Trump going back to the White House. Mark Zuckerberg and Meta dined with Trump at Mar-a-Lago in November. Meta just donated $1 million to support his inauguration. Zuckerberg also elevated Joel Kaplan, the highest-ranking Meta executive closest to the Republican Party, to the company's most senior policy role. And on Monday, Zuckerberg said Dana White, the head of the Ultimate Fighting Championship and an ally of Trump's, would join Meta's board. This is about the fact that our many corporations, and especially these oligarchs that own these social media companies, are bowing down to Trump so that they can make money off of the American people.
Oh, my God. She literally said, make money off the American people. And I'm going to keep bringing this up all show. Sonny Holston, what about what your husband is in trouble for now? What did your husband just do? What is he all up on the news about now. You don't want to talk about that, but you want to keep talking about Donald Trump taking money from the American people. I'm telling you, man, they just sit here and spew lies. This is the crap that pisses me off. This is the crap that pisses everybody off with these women. This is what they do. They show they hate time and time again. It never stops. It's like, man, whew.
The conversation here. So this is actually more complex than we're making it, but on the free speech of it, and I actually agree with Mark Zuckerberg. Of course, there's pressure because Trump's coming into office, but I do think that there's a cultural and societal desire to be able to talk about things openly. And actually, liberals used to be the ones who were super pro-free speech. The famous saying goes, "I disagree with what you're saying, but I'll defend to the death your right to say."
Yes,
so
but I will not
if I may
defend to
finish-
the death
if I-
your
I
right
can't
to
finish
call
a
me.
sentence here.
Sometimes
She's
it
talked for
happens
20
like
minutes.
this.
Wow.
Be nice. She didn't talk for 20 minutes.
I always like to
Yes.
read
Wow. Did she just say, be quiet? You didn't talk for 20 minutes? Listen to Whoopi. It sounded like she said, be quiet. And see, that's the thing that I was just telling everybody, is that when you on that show, if you ain't agreeing with them, they're going to cut you off. If you start talking positive about Donald Trump, Whoopi, the rest of the ladies, Joe Biden, they're going to try to cut you off because they don't want to hear anything positive about Donald Trump. They don't want to hear it. So they're going to keep trying to cut her off. And look how Whoopi just attacking this woman, won't even let her finish her sentence. But she sat there and let Sonny Hostin say all that bull crap that she just said, didn't cut her off not one time. This is what they do. Listen to what Whoopi just said again.
Societal desire to be able to talk about things openly. And actually, liberals used to be the ones who were super pro-free speech. The famous saying goes, "I disagree with what you're saying, but I'll defend to the death your right to say."
Yes,
so
but I will not
if may
defend to
finish-
the death
if I-
your
I
right
can't
to
finish
call
a
me.
sentence here.
Sometimes
She's
it
talked for
happens
20
like
minutes.
this. Be nice. She didn't talk for
So
20
I-
minutes.
I always like to
Yes.
read the 40
Go ahead.
seconds, but
Go
that's
ahead.
okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm trying to make the point that hate speech, something that incites violence, is not legally ever protected under the First Amendment. My ability to say a housewife is a household object, I can say that. It can offend you. I don't agree with it. You absolutely, under the First Amendment, have a right to say it. And the fact that we're policing speech because it makes people uncomfortable or they don't like it or it offends them, I don't think it's how
if somebody decides, as they do often on these social media places, to call me a
Not even say the word.
well, let's be.
I get
I'm
death
sorry.
threats
If
on social media. We all
we're
do.
going to have this conversation, then let's have it.
All right, go ahead.
Because
This crowd get on my nerves. I noticed something. Whoopi thinks just because she be yelling, she make it seem like she's right. It's like, bro, they better not never let me come on their show. I'm going to tell you this now. Look, I'm not holding back at all. I'm going to be respectful, but I'm not going to hold back at all. But I don't like the fact that Whoopi, she always screams. She think because she's screaming that she's right. Listen to this crowd.
So there are certain things where we all agree, boy, you shouldn't be saying that. That is not curbing your free speech. It's asking you to, not you, asking one to respect the fact that people don't want to hear that word when it has to do with them or Native Americans or women
There's also
or
an
any of
element
these
that used to
things.
be under the hate
That's my
guidelines.
point.
But by the way, there is an element of choice that comes into this. I would never subscribe to somebody who would use that language or would incite
No,
these
but you're on a
things against
site
people.
that says now, maybe
Now
it's
it
okay to
is,
say
but it wasn't
it.
before.
You guys were focusing on hate speech, but some of the beginning things they did were Facebook removed all content that said COVID was a man-made disease. There was a group of people claiming it was, and they were considered off limits. Now it's debatable, and they released that. So my point is, there's a difference between the obvious awful stuff
Nobody
you're talking
wants
about,
those things
but
to
it's
be
shutting
on
down
yourself.
conversations, which that's the point.
And again, some things are black and white because you don't have all the time.
Yes,
I
but
didn't
not
have all the time
everything
from the
is black or white. And the things that we know are black and white are the things that we can say, you know what? You don't need to do this because we've decided collectively as a group of human beings.
Let's just be honest. Y'all sitting here arguing and mad because Donald Trump is the president and you don't like the changes that's being made. That's just what it is because Joe Biden, and look what the stuff Joe Biden covered up. Look what Joe Biden covered up, the reason why he got elected. So now since Donald Trump them getting rid of all that stuff, so no, we're going to make some changes. We ain't finna go through another 4 years what we just went through with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. This finna be the best 4 years ever. And they don't like the fact, I say this almost every time I react to The View. I say this all the time. No matter what Donald Trump say, no matter what Elon Musk say, The View, they just want to be able to do the opposite. They want to say the opposite. They just want to have something to go at Donald Trump about to make it seem like he's doing what's worse for the American people. That's their whole game plan, no matter what he say. Now, one time that they come on the show and say, you know what, Donald Trump was right there. They never say that. Never. When have you ever heard Whoopi suddenly say, well, you know what, I do agree. I don't like Donald Trump, but I do agree with him right here. They can't even say it. They just got to hate on the man. They just got to just spew hate. That's it.
That we're going to respect, because they always talk about respect. If you're going to respect people, there are certain things I want you to say. If you run the thing, say I'm not going to accept that. Or for all of the folks who are applauding, you can also not get on Meta.
Well, that's the freedom, that's the choice. Rather than saying we have a pandemic, and by the way, what if it's in a rap? What if it's something that's in a comedy sketch? Oftentimes, language is used in comedy that's represented on social media.
No, you don't hear it. You don't hear it very much on social media. You're not allowed to do it in comedy.
But that's not a good thing. I don't think silencing speech.
You can't just go out there and
yes,
call
there are
people names.
sometimes.
I'm not saying calling people names. I'm saying some of these words that they're saying are protected.
Can I say something?
See, here it go now. Now you finna see how Joel Behar's gonna come in, and now Joel Behar finna go ahead and try to, throw some words at Alyssa. I'm telling you, they do not like being fact checked. They cannot stand it. Joel Behar don't like it. You can see Sunny Host, and she over there just looking out in the middle of nowhere because she's thinking about that indictment that her husband just got. So that's what she's over there worried about. That's why she ain't really interacting that much. If you see, she's just looking out in space. We know what she's thinking about. But watch Joel Behar.
There was a time when there were cartoons when I was a kid, right? And they would make fun of Italians. What's the matter, you? He's a everybody was a pizza maker. And as a child, I felt like that was offensive to me. So I understand. I have empathy for people who don't like it. When you are making fun of their group in a nasty way.
Right.
Now, the people who are doing this are not from minority groups. They're from majority groups. And so
This
they
is
don't
not
suffer.
me saying that every person at this table gets hate speech directed at them. No one is.
I guess no one gets to finish a sentence here anymore. Okay.
No, I think.
Wow. Now you heard Joel Behar. She said, wow. Can't nobody ever finish a sentence here. Like I said, they want to spew out crap, and when you cut them off and try to fact check them, they get mad. Now you see them going at Alyssa. Here we go again. Let's take that back. Listen to what Joel Behar just said.
That was offensive to me. So I understand. I have empathy for people who don't like it. When you are making fun of their group in a nasty way. Now, the people who are doing this are not from minority groups. They're from majority groups. And so they don't suffer.
This is not me saying that every person at this table gets hate speech directed at them. No one is.
I guess no one gets to finish a sentence here anymore. Okay.
No, I think the point Alyssa's making here is she is a free
Well, don't
speech.
speak for her. She speaks very well for herself.
No, but
Wow.
and I'm not doing
We all
that.
act like we're for free speech when it's the things we like. When somebody wants to
That is
defend the free
not
speech of
true.
people
That
we
is not
disagree
true.
with,
That is
it's
not
suddenly-
true.
Now, you heard what Alyssa just said. That's the thing. When you fact check them, they don't like it. They don't want to be fact checked, but I can guarantee you this. If Alyssa was agreeing with Joel Behar, she would have never said, hey, can't nobody finish a sentence here. Can't nobody finish a sentence. They don't like it. That's the reason why I said, man, ain't no Republican finna go to that show. Ain't no Republican finna go to that show and deal with these women. This is exactly what's going to happen every time. And you can see how frustrated Joel Behar is getting. You already see Whoopi already went at her. And now here goes Joel Behar.
And I'm not doing
We all
that.
act like we're for free speech when it's the things we like. When somebody wants to
That is
defend the free
not
speech of
true.
people
That
we
is not
disagree
true.
with,
That is
it's
not
suddenly-
true. I don't want you calling me. I don't want people to
comedy
call
needs to be able to
folks.
push limits.
Listen, comedy does push limits, but be smarter in your comedy. You don't need to offend me to be funny. I don't need to offend you to be funny. And so there are.
Tends to be offensive and
Well,
push
no,
boundaries,
not
question
that's
governments.
actually not necessarily true. The best comedy doesn't always tend to be offensive. It just doesn't.
Okay, the First Amendment doesn't apply to private companies, which is why I'm
Correct.
frustrated Mark Zuckerberg did this, but there are countries in Europe who have modified the way they're allowed to talk about people. I actually support some eliminations on hate speech, which makes me not an absolutist, but I'm okay with it.
Because there are things that we.
Now you hear
collectively-
Whoopi? Yeah. See, long as it's agreeable to them and it ain't supporting Trump, they gonna agree with it. But if it's not, you're talking too much. You're cutting me off. Stop. This is what happens all the time.
We can say we respect everybody's right not to be called a name. If you take that away and you allow that, it's a problem.
They didn't allow it before, and they allow it now, and they
Well,
allow
it's
it
not
now.
a good
Never
thing.
really
because
insisted on any
the
platform I've
president-elect
been on.
Donald Trump
There's
is a
never
liar.
been a social media platform that's existed where you can't call people names. I've been called names on every platform that didn't exist.
But here's the thing, it doesn't make it right.
But let's face facts,
Well,
not
that's
saying
what
because
I'm
Donald Trump got elected, now you can call names on social media. That's
That's
not
why
true.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Now you see that what she said though, that's not. They don't like this right here. Oh, people was doing away for Donald Trump. Man, look at this, man. This is ridiculous. Listen to what she just said again.
Called a name. If you take that away and you allow that, it's a problem.
They didn't allow it before, and they allow it now, and they
Well,
allow
it's
it
not a
now.
good
They
thing.
didn't allow it
Existed on
before.
any platform I've
President-elect
been on.
Donald Trump
There's
is a
never
liar.
been a social media platform that's existed where you can't call people names. I've been called names on every platform that didn't exist.
But here's the thing, it doesn't make it right.
But let's face facts,
Well,
not
that's
saying
what I'm
because Donald Trump got elected, now you can call names on social media. That's
That's
not
why
true.
It's not.
Mark Zuckerberg is doing.
Are you on the ground again? He is. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. We'll be right back.
There we go.